just make it affordable for everybody.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Congratulations to Cornel, to the 47th President of the United States, Dr. Cornel West, the only podcast that I know that's dedicated to any candidate. Haha, yay me. But I am glad that you all are tuned in. Just a couple of housekeeping notes. Remember to like this video, share this video. Our viewership has been dipping a little bit, and we're trying to get it back up into those high 200-300s. So we need your help to do that. So remember to like this video, share this video. If you're watching live, feel free to comment. Before I let my guest introduce himself, of course, there's some bills that we have to pay. Remember, I do not advertise my own podcast. I instead concentrate only on the West Abdullah campaign on Saturdays. So visit CornelWest2024.com where you can learn about the platform. You can donate. You can volunteer. You can learn about Dr. Abdullah, learn about Dr. West. And remember that Hoosiers for Cornel West are sponsoring a virtual comedy show on Tuesday, June 18th at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I'm going to talk about that several times in the show. We're trying to get a full house. So a general admission is $25. All of the money will go to ballot access, which is what Dr. West is getting. And before I let my guest introduce himself, again, I'm going to tell you how the show works in case you've never seen it before. I take 5 to 7 of the dumbest, idiotic abrasions to Dr. West running. I ask my guests what they think about it. Of course, you all know I add my own opinions. So, with that, I'm going to let my guest introduce himself. Ian, can you hear me? Okay, looks like we may be having some technical difficulties. So, um, until he comes back, of course, again, the virtual comedy show is June the 18th. That is this Tuesday. General admission is $25. There is the link right there. We're hoping to see a lot of people come out. It's a Tuesday. It is a Tuesday. It's not a Friday. It's not a Saturday. It's not a Sunday. It is a Tuesday night. So, um, we're hoping to have a great. Well, we're gonna have a great time. We're gonna have a great time. See who's checked in. Hello, Nelson. I am fine. I am fine. How are you doing today? I hope everything's going great for you. Um, I'm trying to think if there's any major news from the campaign that I could talk about while we're waiting on our guests to get back. And I'm looking and I'm just not seeing anything like major that's came out yet. Maybe I'm looking at the website, so uh you see, yes, we are having some difficulties, technical difficulties, which is why you only see me. So never fear, I can do this. I can do this. Uh I'm trying to see if there is major news. Take that off. If not, this is going to be a really short show. Um, I don't know why I can't. Don't know how this is coming. May the 16th. So, um, we're still waiting on our guests to come back in. Um, I'm stuck. I'm looking to see if there's any other news here. I know there's in Oakland, and I'm just kind of reading off the events page, which you of course can find at cornelwest2024.com. There is a Justice for All fundraiser in Los Angeles on the 22nd. Um, Meet the Candidates is Sunday, June 23rd. A fundraiser for Truth and Justice, Walnut Creek, California. So there's a lot of things coming on. So, okay. Are you there?
Hello, Tracy.
Yes.
How are you doing? Yes, it seems like everything is working out perfectly. Thank you.
No, thank you for
Shout out to Betty
coming.
for the Wi-Fi and everything.
Thank you for agreeing to appear because I don't do well by myself unless I'm like utterly prepared. So I'm like, let's talk about events.
Yeah, let's have a
Um,
good time. Then do this. What we'll do is we'll run this one and we'll definitely make this a theme on you know what I mean, for Dr. Cornel West and also for the Black Culture Network on YouTube. Both check out Cornel West on YouTube and check out Black Culture Network on YouTube. And definitely we're gonna have a fun event. We're gonna have the five, like you said, five different kind of crazy happenings. And then we're gonna just, instead of kind of fighting fire with fire, we're gonna fight fire with water. You know what I mean? Because we have other stuff to do. So we're gonna put these five fires out, and then we're
yep.
gonna have a good time.
No, it's 5 to 7. So I always start out with this question. Um, can you briefly talk about why it is you support Dr. West?
I understand that just from, okay, if you look at the man, you're gonna see that he's uniquely himself. He has his Einstein approach. He has his unapologetic brash. You're gonna deal with me approach. You see what I'm saying? Because that's how the leader needs to be. The leader doesn't need to sit here and take orders. The leader leads. The leader never take orders. The leader already took orders. That's how he got into the lead, and he took it serious, and then he got in front, and he stayed in front because he realized how serious it could be. And so, congratulations, because now it's as serious as it is. And so, yeah, he's unapologetic himself. So I mean, it's kind of like that commercial, but it's inverted. Uh, when you see the guys that used to run the company, they all have bald heads. What does the guy go run and do? Everybody's waiting in the lobby. He goes and shaves his head because it's like, are you going to conform to the way? Because we can teach you how to do everything else you need to do. Versus him, he's the opposite, right? He's the one teaching, so he's uniquely himself and he's expressing everything that he needs done. He doesn't need to tell you why. If you need to know, then we all have Google, we all have YouTube, and you obviously can't talk to the man yourself to need to know. Otherwise, you would already know. You see what I'm saying? Because he's not gonna be someone that can be puppeted around. Put it that way, politely saying. So I trust somebody that can be uniquely themselves. In essence.
Yep. So let's get right to it. The number one. The number one. This is everybody that has canvassed for petitions has heard this one. I
All right,
guarantee it.
let's hear it.
A
And
vote.
shout out to the Super Saturday at the Circle a while back. The Circle situation before the parade. Uh, keep going.
Oh, okay. Oh, I'll shoot. I forgot. Oh, no, I didn't. Okay, so a vote for Dr. West is a vote for Donald Trump.
See, I've never heard that one before.
What?
I wasn't
You
canvassing, but I haven't. I'm no, no. Let me. You don't need to say it. It's the fact that, like I said. See, I'm a black man, right? I can say that I can hold myself in a unique experience because it's my experience. They're so scared, not scared, but they're so offended by the thought that someone else could have their own something, even if it's a part of something bigger than its parts, like synergy. There's no way he can be doing this on his own or with people like us. There's no way that. There's no way. There's just no way. Who is on that nag? Who is up there trying to be somebody? So it can't be that it just was him or he's uniquely himself. It has to be that he's gonna do this to get in good with someone else to then appease someone else instead of provide an opportunity for everybody that he's representing.
You must have not petitioned, gather signatures, because I tell you what, that is the number one thing. And people, I mean, you always have some people say they don't believe in third parties, and I'm like, okay, that's why you got what you got. But okay, don't argue with people. But that is by far the number one thing. People, people are so afraid of Trump. Oh, he went away again. So people are so afraid of Trump and hate Trump so much. It's like they bypass the evil that Biden is doing. Like they just forget all about it, and they just excuse it, and they just say, "Oh, it's okay," but he's not Trump. You're okay with that? You've already said, politics is the lesser of two evils. How about voting for the greater good?
See, that can't be the case because that can't be the case because it's not a version of them that's the greater good because there's no night in this situation. If there was a certain kind of situation, then it would be understood that this is acceptable because this is a certain situation. But you can't save me if I think you need me to save you. There's no way this could be the case if this is the case. And so that's the case, I think, in that situation.
I don't understand, and people that try to say, well, Biden, he did something. Yep, he sure did. He went around Congress 3 times for more money to Israel. He's increased funding to Ukraine. He
Where do you want to take this podcast? Because I have something to say on this. Do I have permission to say on
No,
it?
I'm just go. I just go. I just
I'm gonna
go.
go. I'm gonna go. No, I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go for it. All right, ready?
Yes.
So if I had, let's say, $60 trillion, right? But I also had a friend for the last 30 years somewhere else where they make a certain something and they hold certain things there, and they had a nice, valuable asset in between two other places that makes it an asset because it's common ground. And so if hello, thank you, Nelson Ortega, appreciate you in the chat. And so we'll address this after this. We'll address that right after this. So if someone had a situation that's right in between, they can play the middle ground. They can switch up information. They can, but then also you understand that you are the middle ground there. You can't be a party. So if Ukraine got $60 trillion, and then, but it also you have to understand that it's being tore up right now. So just like Puerto Rico was getting flooded out, and then they let it get flooded out so that they could rebuild it at a profit. So if Ukraine's getting bombed out as negotiation, and then eventually it's going to be rebuilt with the $60 trillion plus the other $60 trillion plus the other however many other $1 trillion. Why would I put this in my son's name 10 years ago? Why would I put it in Hunter Biden's name 10 years ago? And so then when I get whatever piece of it as an investor after I get his power of attorney, because he also smokes crack now. So as soon as that happens, now he starts smoking crack, and then so he's not a credible anything. So it's in his name, and then he's gonna be the president. What 6 years later? But he also just put $60 trillion into something he's gonna get at least let's say like 5-10% of. So what's 5-10% of 60 trillion? But
That's
it's
a
not
good
in his
point.
name.
Yes,
You
and
see what I'm saying?
I understand, but like I said, we. I'm going to phrase
I think
my.
that this is definitely the better of both evils. It's the greater good, as you said. Yeah. And
Yeah,
so like we the five seven most slanderous comments. Let's try not to make too much sense of them, but let's definitely like you said
I
we
wouldn't have a
unpack
show
them.
if
I
I
like
didn't
that
address
attitude.
them, though. I couldn't have a show if I didn't. I couldn't have a show. You
Facts.
don't realize this show has been on since September of last year.
Wake it up.
I've been doing this since September of last year. I just realized that.
On
So I
everything.
wouldn't I wouldn't have a show if I didn't point out, hey, y'all know that's the dumbest thing you've ever said. That's not gonna make me vote for Biden. I mean, he not getting my vote anyway. I don't care if he passed Medicare for all, reparations, um, Green New Deal. I literally don't care. there's no circumstance where I'm ever gonna sit here and say, you know what, I might as well just vote for Biden. He gonna win anyway. No,
One thing I
but
will say about Biden is shout out to the people getting their student loans taken care of. Shout out to Dr. Cornel West on 24, and so yeah, and shout out Tracy Carson's putting me on the podcast, Black Culture Network on YouTube. You know what I mean? Let's get to number two.
okay. So number two, I always forget number two, and I don't know why. And I don't do these in order, obviously, because you would think I would have these written down by now, but I don't. So number two is, oh yeah, here it is. Okay, Dr. West is polling at 2%. He should drop out of the race and endorse Jill Stein, who has a better shot at winning than he does.
Yeah, I think that all kind of pivots back to that first explanation. It's my long shot is better than your long shot because it's my long shot. It's not your long shot. But if your 2% is still, I mean, what you said was 4%, 2%, or 2%, 1%. Either way, it's less than what 4%. Either way, so we're talking about 96 of a consensus that it's not those two people. I would rather see that. You see what I'm saying? Play out or partner up later on. But hey, look, this didn't work for either of us, but we got this far. So imagine if we had more resources, more information, more network. You know what I mean? Like more friends in the right spots. Then we'll see what we could do next year or next 4 years. Boom. And then that turns into 12%. And then that third party is actually a third party, because obviously we already seen what we can do. And so I would just say that's a crazy situation. It's like someone trying to cut the line, like, well, no, we're all thirsty, but yeah, but you might as well let me cut. It's like, what? Like, we're all thirsty, right? I thought we was all in this line to get something to drink. But yeah, you're already thirsty though. It doesn't matter. You might as well just let me just get in front of you because I'm thirsty. Wait, no, like, so
No,
yeah, I think
my
someone trying to,
thirst is more important than yours.
yeah, this is the priority. It's like, but also like, it's kind of crazy to think someone dedicated their entire life, and you just want them to just drop out. You just want them to just stop. Like, it's just because of the convenience to instead of competition. You see how you don't get the convenience if you compete? You compete and you have a winner or a
Well,
loser. Like
you
literally,
the
phonetically,
whole
you don't get it's COM or it's CON. You call somebody or you compete with somebody. Combine and then compete.
the the thing that I hear about third, and I'm going to say alternative parties because there's hundreds, literally hundreds of third parties in the country. Um, what I will say is,
And even that is a happenstance. Even that is a convenience. Because it takes too much to register and it costs too much per piece of paper to put
yep,
everybody's name on there. Even though how many third party? I think there's only one third party. It's the first third party, and then everything else is a fourth party, and then a fifth party, and then it's a joint, a JV. So it's like, but keep going. That's it's just all about
yeah. I look
happenstance.
at other countries that have 20 and 30 other non-dominant parties, and people vote in their elections just fine. Why can't you just run for office? You say you run for office, you file with the FEC, you get your name on the ballot. It should not be this hard. We should not be. This is what Americans should be mad about. We shouldn't have to go across. I'm in Indiana. I know you're in Indiana too. We should not have to go across the state and beg people and plead with people to 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 sign a signature. Right? They should just be on the ballot. If you're so good, if your record's so great, you shouldn't be scared of being having other names on the ballot because your record is so good that people have no choice to vote for you. Now we all know what that is. We want they want only them to control the conversation because again, they only pretend to be enemies on TV. These guys are sitting here shucking it up and just having a good old time and we're out here suffering. Look at the corporations and look at
I
people
like
say,
that. Only pretend to be enemies on people. I like that. I like that a lot because that's true. A lot of people
look how
that
they
I can think
vote.
of right now.
Look how they vote. I can't name, and I'll get back to my point about the 2% here in a second. I can't name a politician in this current session that has ever voted not to increase the military's budget. I can't name
Oh yeah, no,
anybody.
that's you got the wrong guy for somebody that's gonna talk bad about the military. No, we need the military more than we need anything else. Because everything that we enjoy here without the military is just gonna be somebody else's. Think about it, because it's never happened here because it's never happened here, and so that means it's happened everywhere else. So them random buildings that's getting blown up everywhere else but here is because someone else is blowing them
Yeah,
buildings
we're
up
gonna have to
everywhere
agree
else
to
but here.
disagree on that because I'm like, you don't need all this money. You don't need all, and that's one of Dr. West's, main things.
This what these I'm telling you, they need every dollar they get, and they just make more because they just need to keep making more. The bombs and the just the bombers are $1 million just aircraft. Just
That money does not go to the. If the money went to the soldiers, I can see where you're
it
going.
does go to the soldiers. It goes to the soldiers.
No,
They don't
because
get
they
they
wouldn't
not in
be
the
on.
raggy daggy, torn up
Why are
vehicles
they
that's getting shot
applying
down.
for welfare though?
No,
Why
listen.
are soldiers applying for welfare?
I can't speak on that. I cannot speak on that. I can say what I want to say, but I will not say it on a live broadcast, just out of respect for everybody. But I can say what I have an idea. But vice versa, the commander in chief, the head military person, the president, he'll sign that bill because would you rather have a Nerf gun in a water fight or a water gun in a water fight? They're both expensive. They're both plastic. They're both high powered. They both, but it's a water gun fight. So you need the water, right? So if I can blow up your whole city and no one ever touches the ground, and your whole city is just blown up now twice in the same like what week, and it never has to happen ever again because they realize, wow, this only can happen from this one place in the world that has never even thought about happening because of might is right. It's still that's the only reason why America matters. America doesn't matter because of the network and finance or the network and technology or the net. America only is important because of the military. America, if crudely put, would be the world's mercenary. We're the youngest, but we're also the most powerful because worst come to worst, we can just take what we want, and that's what we do.
And this is why Dr. West, like all the other third party candidates, are talking about cutting the size. It does not. Our military is so large. If you went with number 2, 3, and 4, we still have twice as much as them put together.
No, but that's not true because think about it. China has now. Think about it. We're close enough. An
China
EMP. Listen.
military is not that
Electromagnetic
large.
pulse. It has. I think they have a million. They have like a billion people in total. And I think they have a million man soldiers. We have technology and weapons. But what happens when they drop a million Chinese soldiers on American soil? That's gonna be different than because EMP and electromagnetic pulse can knock out things. Obviously, like there's grades and tiers and there's echelons to that, and we have the best. But let's say they get one just a disruptor or something like that, or like a splinter cell, God forbid, or something like that, and they just all unite and they disrupt it. So we have no internet, no nothing. That's not gonna mean nothing. But that million people foot on the ground, that's gonna mean a lot. That's gonna be a lot. That's gonna be a lot. That's gonna be a lot. It's gonna be a problem. So that's why you gotta not say defund them, but I would say just train more in specialization, so then everybody's as useful as possible.
I'm going to take Dr. West's stand. We'll
Oh yeah, no,
need.
no, no. I'm not no expert at all. I'm not an expert for the military. I'm not an expert for Dr. West. I'm not an expert for you. I'm just an expert. Just my idea of like what I know the realities of the evils of the world are, and there's countries that are plotting against us the whole time. Not only all day. That's all they want to do. Just take us down all day. So we might as well defend and then at least have it happen over there before anything ever happens over here.
Yeah, we're going to agree to disagree because I
Understood.
literally don't agree with anything you just. I'm like, nope, 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 nope. But back to the 2%, like I said, I was going to get back to. So if we believe polls, Hillary Clinton should be president. She should
Okay.
have been president because she was leading Donald Trump in every poll. Every poll she was leading by a huge margin. And what did we get? Donald Trump. So I don't pay attention to polls, I don't want Dr. West to get out the race. I definitely don't. But here comes my plug. The campaign has never stopped me from saying this. Please donate to the campaign. The goal is to get on the ballot in 50 states. Um, and all the money, well, not all the money, but a portion of it is going to ballot access in specific states. So consider voting. Oh, consider voting. Well, vote too, but go to cornelwest2024.com to donate, to volunteer. Um, just do that. So number three.
Also, man, Miss Tracy, I have to leave in about 3-4 minutes. Did you mind if I just ended this with Nelson Ortega's comments?
Oh yeah, go ahead.
Okay, so like I said, Ian Gabriel Cureton, Black Culture Network on YouTube, Dr. Cornel West 2024. And so Nelson Ortega from the chat, he said, I was just watching Uncut Africa Live where they showed a video of Cornel West speaking, and it was great. Cornel West is the original truth warrior. Everyone else is nothing more than a watered down version. Cornel West is the best candidate. Joe Stein knows it. All right? And then Nelson Ortega. We don't need to be in every country with our forces. Only gangsters do that. We can defend our country without pushing on theirs. Okay, on others. Without that's a good way of putting it, Nelson. That's a good way of putting it. I appreciate that. And then
Oh, you must have been reading way ahead of
like I
me. I'm
said,
like,
Ian
wait a
Kirsten.
minute. Yep. So,
Yeah, I was reading the chat.
yep. So you said you had to go.
All right,
So I'm gonna continue this show solo and see how this works.
please
Um,
send me the link. Please email me the link so I can put this on all my platforms. I appreciate you guys
absolutely,
having me on. And like I said, don't forget to vote. Don't forget to vote Dr. Cornel West 2024.
absolutely. Thank you.
Don't forget to vote. Don't forget to vote Dr. Cornel West 2024.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Clip that up. So we're good to go. Yes, ma'am. Adios.
Okay. So I am not here by I'm here the rest of the way by myself. So we're gonna just keep on going through the points, and we'll just have a good old time here. Next one, and I always forget these. What's the next one? Dr. West isn't serious about his campaign. Um, like, do you get to wait a minute? No, let me backtrack for that one. No, let me go to my third one. My third one. Now is not the time for Dr. West to run. If I hear this one more time, I'm gonna just hurdle chunks. It literally, I do not understand how other people get to say to someone else when it's their time to run. It's always the time to do something right. There's never a bad time to do something right. Now is the time. Last year was the time. 2 weeks ago was the time. Tomorrow is going to be the time. You can't, and not that I speak for the campaign, but you can't keep delaying and delaying because a bunch of Democrats don't want you to run, and they don't want you to be on there, and they don't want you to because they've decided it's not your time. First of all, they're not you. Um and I'm saying you as the collective um people out there, not just you, Dr. West, but how do they sit and come up with this? How is it that they think that they can determine when it's time for someone else to run? Oh, and they never define when the right time to run is. They'll put it years down the road. Or my favorite one was someone commented on last week's episode and said, no, the week before, and said, Dr. West should run in 2028. And I said, yeah. And in 2028, you'll say that he should run or someone else should run in 2032. It's always this moving the goalpost down the line to prevent other parties from running. And it is so annoying that people don't understand. It's like it just goes over their heads. And I, it's that argument to me is the most egregious because you're literally making a decision for someone else. I mean, when was the time to start the civil rights movement? When was the time to start? There's no specific time. Like I said, now is the time to do what is right. And if you can't do what is right, find somebody else that can. And I I am so glad that Dr. West is running because and everybody put their comments in here too because I'm just kind of rattling off. I forgot because I knew that guest wasn't going to be on that long. So, it's to me, it's disrespectful. It's completely disrespectful to tell someone else, it's not your time. You don't get to decide that. That person does. If they decide it's the time to run, then they have the right to run. Again, there's only 3 requirements for being president: 18, 35, United States citizen, born in the United States, and lived in the United States for 14 years. That's it. It's none of this. We don't need, we got to stop Trump and painting Trump as like the worst thing that's ever happened, or Project 25 or any other scare tactics that you want to use to get people to vote for your candidates. Don't have policies. Don't have something that you can say, you know what, this is what we're gonna do. Nope, you just make Trump the boogeyman and you make him evil, and then that way people will vote for you. What does that say about you? You don't have an agenda, so you just use scare tactics to make people vote for you? Like, how pathetic are you that you have to use scare tactics to make somebody vote for your candidate? Don't use policy. Don't do that. Don't sit here and say, you know what, we're just gonna it's gonna be Medicare for all. Nope. Let's just say it's not your time to run because we at a time like this, sell out Bernie Sanders. Oh my gosh. Let me move down to the next ones. Because this is obviously gonna be one of my shorter shows. Okay, so I talked about a vote for Trump. Now's not the time. 2% in the polls. We got 2 more to go. Oh, y'all help me out. What's the other 2 I always talk about? Oh, this one. Dr. West is not a serious candidate. Define what you mean when you say he's not a serious candidate. What do you mean by that? What metrics are you setting up? Is there a time that you would take him seriously? Or are you just mad that he's not saying what you want him to say, RBN? I'm just saying. I'm just saying. I'm just saying. It amazes me that people say that. How do you know if someone's taking their candidacy seriously? I mean, we know Trump is running to stay out of prison. I have no idea why Biden is running. I don't even know why I think he said out of his own mouth that he was running because Trump was running. And so maybe that's why. But no, 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 no. It's just I just would love to know what their criteria is, right? I would love to know what the criteria is for a candidate that takes himself or herself seriously. I'm going to get some water here. I am sorry. It's extremely hot outside. And I turned the air off so I wouldn't be chilly. I think I might turn it on. Um, but it's like, what? I don't know if people believe the vote blue no matter who ish, but oh gosh, y'all gotta help me. Help me with this one because when you raise that criticism, I'm not understanding how what criteria you think it means to be a serious candidate. You can't run a candidacy or campaign. I'm just gonna say campaign. You can't run a campaign without money. And speaking of money, the virtual comedy show is Tuesday, June 18th at 7 p.m. There is the link. I'm gonna leave that up for a while. Um, I I think some of these criticisms are really because they don't like what Dr. West is saying. They see him as a threat to the system, so they use MSDNC and CNN and Fox RNC to bring up these ridiculous, silly, unsubstantiated criticisms. And people are just so willing to believe them. Um, and that's just one of the ones I can't even I can't even make sense out of it, right? I can't sit here and say, well, they don't take their campaign serious. And then I never say, well, to take your campaign seriously, you have to have, I don't know, file work, paperwork with the FEC. Said that you're an independent candidate or not an independent candidate. Form a party like RFK did, like Dr. West did. What makes you think he's not serious? What if you're gonna criticize, because I know people love to criticize after my shows go off because they're not crazy enough to do it while I'm on, I wonder what it is. Like, what one thing would make you say, "Oh, he's taking his campaign serious"? I don't think there is anything. I think that the media's got some certain people against Dr. West so badly that it's just like ridiculous. Cornel West didn't have to run, but given the option of lack of moral authority, he is serious about the campaign. Exactly. I mean, he said himself years ago, I'd rather be in the crack house than the White House. Um, I think he, and again, I'm not him. So I can't tell you why. Well, I can tell you why he's running. He's running within the empire to destroy the empire. Um, that he talks about a lot. But I'm gonna move on to my next one because I said um, I was kind of expecting not to be that quick, but we're gonna just move through these, and then I will maybe have an announcement about my channel, which I normally don't do, but we'll continue. So he's not a serious candidate. Oh, this one. Dr. West can't be trusted to be president because he changes his mind too much. He's ran with the Movement for White People's Party. He's ran with the Green Party. He declared independence, and now he's formed his own party called the Justice for All Party. How can you trust someone like that when if he can't make up his mind what policy or his campaign, how is he going to run for, how is he going to be president? He'll just change his mind all the time. I don't think, I think that shows his ability to recognize when something isn't working and to be flexible enough and to be innovative enough to say a change needs to happen instead of just trying to fit um, a round ball in a square peg. He recognized, this Green Party thing isn't working. Moving for a white people's party was never going to work because they don't have ballot access. Well, correction, they have it in 2 states, I think. But I mean, he could have never ran as a libertarian. That was never going to happen. Um, because they have ballot access in all 50 states. But um, I I just scratch my head at people because they say they want change. They say they're tired of things going the way that they are, and yet they will vote for the exact same thing all the time, and somehow miraculously these different results are supposed to come. It doesn't work like that. You have to vote different to get something different. You can't just keep voting for a duopoly, keep voting for them and keep voting for them and then expect like they're going to change. They're not going to change. They know they have your vote. Um, and in terms of him switching or changing his mind, I'd rather him change his mind than to keep with policies that don't work. I'd rather him than to say that policy on economics isn't working. Let's do something else, or let's try something else. Um, I I I don't even understand why I've heard it because these are the things I hear, but I don't understand. That's not really a valid criticism to me because you have to be flexible, or you should be. You should look at a situation, say, it's not quite working. And then when it doesn't work, be willing to change. Instead of just staying with it and staying with it and staying with it and staying with it and staying with it. It's not going to. No. No, 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 no. Last one, because I said this was gonna be short. I'm gonna try to keep it short. Um, Dr. West is a threat. I kept saying an embarrassment, but the quote is actually Dr. West is a threat to democracy. Wait a minute, I'm gonna go before I go to this one. Nelson's got something. Why is everyone so into different color parties when all they want to do is control the candidates to conform to their goals? Cornel West needs to be himself. He absolutely is himself. Oh, I see what you're getting at. Um, Dr. West is a threat to democracy. Like the government that we have. Well, first of all, we do not have a democracy. Please stop saying that we have a democracy. We do not. We have an oligarchy. We have a system that is controlled by corporations and not government. Um, the oligarchy is the reason that we don't have Medicare for all, why we don't have reparations, why we don't have universal basic income, because it's not controlled by people in legislatures. Um, there was a study or an article out that I wish I had sense enough to have brought that says that most congressional people don't even write their own bills, that they're being written by think tanks and corporate PACs. So tell me about this democracy that you keep talking about. And if there was a democracy, um, Dr. West wouldn't have to go collecting signatures in every state. I mean, there wouldn't have to be a campaign to collect signatures in other states. He would just be on the ballot if we had a democracy, but we do not have a democracy. If we had a democracy, every presidential candidate would be on the debate stage. Instead of watching two old white men sit around and argue with each other, we would actually be watching a debate with not every, because there's 100, maybe the top 20 candidates, right? We would be, we would be, if we had democracy, we wouldn't have um a former president um keep saying the election, it was tainted and it was votes that shouldn't be casted, and the Republican Party sits back and says, yeah, that's right, knowing good and well that didn't happen. But um here's another one. As long as we have the Electoral College, there is no real democracy. We do not vote for president. I want everybody to know that. The Electoral College selects the president of the United States. Not you, not me, not anybody. The Electoral College. Congress is so gerrymandered that the parties tend to get in who they want. So the only office that we actually, outside the state level, that we actually elect are United States senators. That's all we get to elect. Um, and I think that's, I keep hearing this threat to democracy, and I'm not seeing the democracy that they're talking about. I don't see it. I don't, I think what, again, the media is trying to scare people. Again, Project 2025, I already talked about that in my last week's show, or last Sunday's show that I did. Just all of these scare tactics about and threats to democracy. If Trump, which is what the Democrats say, is such a threat to democracy, why did you just set aside and let him be a threat, right? You didn't try to do anything. You didn't make any bills. You didn't protest. You didn't take your case to the people. You just sat around, watched them be this threat to democracy. And now Dr. West is a threat to democracy. Give me an entire break. Because no, I'm not going to be the one with that today. I'm not going to be the one with that today. So I hope you all enjoyed this unabridged, probably the shortest episode show I did, but it really tears me apart that you have a candidate that is for the people, and people are just like, well, I'm going to vote for Biden. Why? Because I'm scared of Trump. Why are you scared of Trump? Why? Why? Stop voting out of fear. It is going to get you nowhere. If you want significant change, and I mean significant change, it's time to change the way you vote. It's definitely time for you to change the way you vote and vote for Dr. Cornel West. Um, I know this is ballot access time, and get him on the ballot is the main thing. But come November, um, we got to vote for Dr. West, right? Okay. Okay, so I'm looking up something here. Oh, I forgot what I'm looking for. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Oh, I know what I'm looking up. Because I got something special I want to talk about. And I'm breaking a rule here. I normally do not talk about, since we're at the end, I normally do not talk about my own channel. I never do, because, again, this show is about making Dr. West the 47th President of the United States. Um, but I am trying to tell you what's going to happen Tuesday. I don't understand this. Where is it at? Yeah. Yeah, I know I can find it. I'm gonna find it. Oh my gosh. Okay. I'm finding it, y'all. I'm gonna let. Wow. I'm really trying to find this. And oh, here we go. Finally, so I'm gonna read. Got it. Oh my goodness, took me. Okay, we absolutely need Cornel West for president. The betterment of this country depends on it. Absolutely, Nelson. Absolutely, absolutely. I want to talk about what's gonna happen Tuesday. Tuesday, June the 20th. Wait a minute, June the 20th. No, Thursday, June the 20th. Thursday, June the 20th, I will have a special show. It's gonna be comical. It comes on at 6 o'clock, called Things That I Do Not Understand About the Things About the Flintstones That I Do Not Understand. I'm gonna be doing that. And then in July, I am planning on covering the RNC convention on the 15th, the 16th, the 17th, and the 18th. All of those will be at 7:45. I have 6 o'clock on one of them, but I'll go back and change it to 6:45. 7 o'clock. I'll go back and change the 6:45 to 7 o'clock. Oh my gosh. But the reason I bring this up is because um, you're gonna see me more on getting live on YouTube and Twitch. Um, but it won't always be Cornel West speaking. Not speaking. He hasn't been on this show. It won't be me always talking about Dr. West. That will still be excluded. That will be still exclusively on Saturday. Um, but you'll start seeing me pop up more on Tuesdays and Thursdays because I'm trying to bring my shows back so people can get used to that schedule. Remember, if I can get this right, remember to visit CornelWest2024.com. That is where you can learn how you can volunteer, how you can donate, how you can learn about the platform. Read all the tiers or read all of the platform. It's a fantastic platform, probably the best that I've ever read. And I don't say that haphazardly, I say that in meaning. Remember Tuesday, June 18th. So I'm talking to all the supporters of Dr. West here. We need you to come out and support this event. It's only $25 to get in here and see a good comedy show. 2 comics are going to come, give us some good laughs, and raise some dollars for the campaign. There's the address. And keep in mind this. I'm trying to go for an hour, but I don't think I'm going to make it. If you want to be on this show, I believe you can inbox me on YouTube. It'll give you my Tracy Media LLC at gmail.com address. But if you want to be on this show to talk about your support of Dr. West, I'm still looking for guests. I know I got some lined up. but I'm always looking for guests. This show is going to go right up until November. So um, I try to make it as fun as I possibly can. Well, guys, I don't see anything in the comments section. Um, so I'm gonna play a video here, and we'll do it this way. Okay.
We need all the tired, poor, huddled masses of America who have had enough of the two-headed snake that has been our parties and our current and former president. Please sign up at cornelwest2024.com volunteer or scan the QR code to join the movement for a new choice. Join us on Mondays at 7:15 p.m. EST by scanning the QR code. Paid for by Hoosiers for Dr. Cornel West for president.
Thank you for watching. This is the first time I've ever had a show under an hour. I don't know how I feel about it. I feel sad, but that's okay. Thank you, Nelson. We appreciate you, Tracy. You're awesome and keep up the great work. I don't know how great it is, but I'm gonna keep it up because I want Dr. West in the White House. That's the plan, that's the goal, that's the mission. Thank you all for watching. Join us next week. Have a great evening. Make it great, and remember to go west. Bye-bye.